From service to strength, from questions to choice, guidance you trust, her vet voice.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that you guys are having an amazing evening, and I hope you had a great day. And we want to say welcome to Natural before we get into the conversation, which is going to be a very great topic that we are discussing tonight. So,
good evening.
Thank you guys for joining. Hey, 66. Hey, Jason. Hey, Benny. How are you? Hey, Keith. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tonight we are going to have us a time. We are going to break down one of the most misunderstood topics in VA disability claims, which is sleep apnea, known as OSA, versus sleep disturbances. So many veterans are filing these claims and they have exactly no idea of how it works, how it goes, what it's supposed to be attached to, and so forth. So if you are filing a VA claim for sleep apnea and you think sleep apnea and sleep disturbance are the same thing, this is exactly why your claim is being denied. And this is why we're having this conversation tonight. So tonight we're going to break down the real difference between OSA and sleep disturbances, and more importantly, how the VA looks at them. This is where we want the veterans to get the clear picture of how the VA looks at OSA and sleep disturbance. Because one of these can get you a high rating, and the other one, if you file it wrong, you can get a big fat denial. So let's get into the conversation about sleep apnea and the difference between sleep disturbance. Hey, Echo, and hey, Ginger. Welcome, guys, and definitely thank you for joining. So as always, we have Natural here with us. We are going to get into it. FF is probably going to join here shortly. We do have a couple of pointers. As you know, we always put a presentation up so you guys can snap some screenshots, or you can come back and take a listen to something that you definitely missed. But before I get into it, let me just say this. If you are writing your own nexus, you need to go to the corner. See this corner right here? Go to the corner. Okay? A veteran cannot write their own nexus. Okay? A veteran cannot write their own nexus letter. Say it with me. A veteran cannot write their own nexus letter. Okay? Anyway, let's go. Y'all just be sending me before I'm even there. Let's get this presentation going. So, guys, I know you guys are going to have questions, but I want you to ask your questions a little bit later so we can get through this. And hopefully some of your questions are going to be answered as we go along. 11 watching and 5 likes. Let's smash that like button like looking for Pastor Dougie. Absolutely, because he over there counting the offering from Easter Sunday. But anyway, Natural, you want me to go and then we'll just all jump in and go? Let's do it.
That's fine.
It's frozen. Okay. All right. So when we talk about the famous sleep apnea, right? Let's define what sleep apnea is. Sleep apnea is a medical condition where breathing stops during sleep. It requires a sleep study diagnosis, often treated with a CPAP machine or oral devices. This is what the VA looks for when you are filing a sleep apnea claim. An official diagnosis, the sleep study results, for medical evidence. Sleep apnea is not based on how tired you feel. It's based on what happens to your breathing while you are asleep. Okay?
Freezer.
I'm freezing? Are you there, Natural? Am I freezing?
I'm here now.
Okay. So understanding what sleep apnea is, what and why does it matter when it comes to understanding what sleep apnea is? Veterans often confuse these conditions when filing a claim. Each condition has different medical criteria, and the VA rates them different under different diagnostic codes. Mislabeling these diagnoses can lead to denials or lower ratings. So let's learn a little bit more. Why does the difference matter when it comes to sleep apnea, natural versus sleep disturbance?
Okay. As you stated, you gave the definition of what sleep apnea is.
Yes.
Sleep disturbance is typically related to mental health disorder, not sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a respiratory. Sleep disturbance falls under mental health.
Do you guys get that? Sleep apnea is respiratory and sleep disturbance falls on the mental health. That's two different parts of the body, the head and the lungs. So that means that guess what? There's no correlation. And that's why we want you guys to understand the difference tonight. The difference, right? How is each evaluated in the VA disability claims? Sleep apnea, like I said earlier, is evaluated based on requiring a sleep study, right? While you're doing a sleep study, the study shows the amount of time that you stop breathing during the sleep, while you're asleep. When you talk about sleep disturbance, it's like you having trouble falling asleep, or you're waking up frequently, or you're having nightmares, to include insomnia, right? Sleep disturbance is often combined or tied to, like Natural just said, mental health, which is PTSD, anxiety, depression, or chronic pain. Sleep disturbance is how you experience sleep problems. Sleep apnea is a diagnosed medical condition. So sleep disturbance is how you experience the problems. Meanwhile, if you're having sleep apnea, it's a medical condition. Remember, guys, sleep apnea is respiratory. Sleep disturbance is a symptom of a mental health related issue. This is where veterans messed up all the time. They tried to put the two together, and the two should not be added together. Anything here, Natural? And I'm going to get to you guys' questions before we get to the next slide.
No, you can keep going.
All right. Service connection criteria are being overwhelmed, trying to service connect it, slow down, and strategize. So remember what I just told you. Sleep disturbance, mental health, sleep apnea, respiratory. Slow down. Slow down. Because when we talk about respiratory for sleep apnea, you have to be able to connect something respiratory for it to be connected to something else. So you cannot connect sleep apnea to GERD. I'm going to just let that sit in for a minute. You cannot connect sleep apnea to GERD. You cannot connect sleep apnea to your back pain. Okay? Because you guys just try to find a way of how to fit it in and it's not fitting. Okay? So let's get to this. Paragraph 2. I was diagnosed. Oh, wait. Let me go back up. I applied for sleep apnea primary and secondary to IVDS and GERD. I just finished my CMP. It was only 5. She said she got all the info. You know why she got all the info? Okay. Part 2. I was diagnosed in 2014, 2 years after service. I complained while in service about snoring and fatigue. I did a sleep apnea test, but it came out negative. Diagnosis was within 2 years. Been dealing with it for 10 plus years. So BJ, you got out and then you was diagnosed with it 2 years later, but then when you did the test, it came out negative. So how did you have the diagnosis if the test came out negative?
Maybe he's talking about he had the study done while on active duty.
Active duty. Okay. Let me go back up here and see.
Because snoring doesn't automatically equate to sleep apnea.
I'm glad you said that. A lot of people feel because they snore that they automatically should be granted sleep apnea. But remember, sleep apnea is respiratory, right? Let's see here. Jason, sounds like I believe I was diagnosed in service, but my VSO never mentioned anything about it. The VA out of nowhere asked me to do a sleep study and I have OSA. All right, let's keep going. Sleep apnea via service connection criteria. So in order for you to get a service connection, you have to have a medical diagnosis of sleep apnea. Usually it's given during a sleep study, okay? Then you have to have evidence of an in-service event, injury, or illness. Also, a nexus, which is a medical link, has to be given between the sleep apnea and the in-service occurrence. Lay statements and buddy letters can support the claim as well. Okay, so for your sleep apnea, you have to have the diagnosis, which is given usually via a sleep study. Then you have to tie that to an to an in-service event, injury, or an illness. Next, you have to have the link between that and the sleep apnea and the in-service occurrence. Okay, when you have all those three things, you can also add lay statements and buddy letters to support your claim. That's very important. Look at the steps: the diagnosis, the event, the in-service event, the medical link between the in-service event and the diagnosis, along with lay statements and buddy letters. And that can help solidify your claim. Okay. Next is sleep apnea, the definition and the symptoms. Chronic sleep disorder involving repeated pauses in breathing. This can be obstructive, central, or mixed. The symptoms include loud snoring, gasping, fatigue, or headache. General term for problems with sleep: falling asleep, staying asleep, or restless sleep. The symptoms include fatigue, difficulty concentrating, mood changes, and is often associated with mental health conditions like PTSD, depression, and insomnia. So when you see sometimes a person who's been diagnosed with PTSD, and sometimes they have a lot of problems sleeping, right? They have a hard time resting comfortably. They're fatigued, they keep waking up, or they spend days at a time up. That's what we call sleep disturbance. All right, let's see here. Part 3. While inactive, it says I don't have it, but then they asked me to do surgery while in service for my neck for snoring. So doesn't it count as an in-service event or injury for me to support claim?
What was the reason they asked you to do the surgery on your neck? I'm not getting a correlation of surgery on your neck and snoring. They could did they do it like typically? Sometimes when people have enlarged adenoids, sometimes that can cause them snoring. Sometimes if you have sinusitis rhinitis, it can cause you to have snoring. Doesn't always mean it's associated with sleep apnea. But the reason why you got the exam and the medical opinion probably is because you had that in-service event. It doesn't support that you had sleep apnea. It supports that you had an event in service that may be linked to the diagnosis you have now.
Correct. I hope you guys got that. So what was the reason, BJ? All right, so let's see what Jason put here. So if you have a bad back, like rated at 40% for it and become fat, you can't claim back pain for the cause of it. So that's where the intermediate step of weight gain comes in.
Obesity. Yeah, that's where we will ask a question like, had the veteran not had this, whatever back injury it is, would it have led to the veteran gaining weight that led to the veteran being diagnosed with OSA?
Yes.
Depending on what the examiner, sometimes they say yes, but they also factor in a whole lot of other different factors, not just the obesity when it comes to OSA. So it's just really the luck of the draw, really, when it goes for those questions. We really have no control over what that examiner says. Now, if the examiner gives poor rationale with poor supporting literature, then we can send it back and ask for clarification. We can send it back and say, hey, we can explain why we feel like we disagree with that rationale. But if the examiner comes back and says, no, it's due to age, this, that, and that, then it's more likely going to be denied, even if you have gained weight due to a back injury.
Oh, FF is here. Hey, FF.
Hey, FF, I can be quiet now.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was trying to be an adult, and I didn't do the taxes until like a few minutes ago, but they're done.
Okay, you made it before midnight.
Oh God.
All right, FF, we just got started on the difference between sleep apnea. So we had a gentleman here, Jason, says that if you have a bad back, like rated at 40% for it, and becomes fat, you can't claim back pain for the cause of it. So we were talking about the weight gain intermediate step to sleep apnea.
What does he mean? You can
claim it. It just you can, if you claim it exactly the way that you wrote it, not the fat part, but just like you gained weight due to your service connected back pain. Like I told you, we will ask for a intermediate to obesity step for you based on your service connected back. But again, like I said earlier, if that examiner comes back and says, no, it's not because of that, because they like to give us all these other risk factors other than them saying, well, yeah, it is due to the veteran service connected and them gaining weight, blah, blah. They give us a whole list of other risk factors on why they could have OSA.
Yeah. We have another question here. Hey, Tina. Received 70% service connected for MST PTSD prior and current diagnosis for OSA and migraines. Do I have a shot at 100%?
We can't tell you that. We can't tell them that. I mean, you can file, what you can do is file for PTSD. File for OSA and migraine secondary to your PTSD MST. We can't tell you if that's going to get you 100% because we don't know if that's going to get service connected. Can you claim that? Absolutely. You can claim it as a secondary.
Did your OSA happen in service or did your migraines happen in service? That's a better shot if you had it in service.
Because go ahead.
If the OS, you have to also remember, if the OSA and the migraines existed prior to your service connection or your diagnosis of PTSD, there's no way they will grant it secondary.
Correct.
Right. And make sure they get you an aggravation opinion. You know, again, we're human, we try, but sometimes if, you know, the VSR gets it, they may just request a regular exam, and sometimes the rater may not get it to catch it. But when you get your decision back, if it doesn't address aggravation, you can send back a notice of disagreement or, you know, request an HLR for us to get that additional opinion.
Let me say this. Me and FF cannot tell you guys if you can get service connected or granted for something. We can advise, we can tell you what, if that's a good claim or if that's not a bad claim. We can say, oh yeah, definitively, you're going to get service connected for it if you file that.
Yes, correct.
We cannot do that.
Because we don't have all of your evidence.
Yeah, the evidence is not there. Yeah. BJ, so part 4. So let's forget about the neck surgery. Since I had all complaints such as falling asleep, fatigue, snoring, and diagnosis within 2 years, does it count as continuity? Sleep apnea doesn't happen overnight.
Well, you had symptomology. You did not have a diagnosis in service. Symptomology.
Catch me up, Natural. What happened?
Huh?
Catch me up. What happened?
So let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. He had he got out. He applied for OSA primary and secondary to IVDS and GERD. He had a CMP, and it only lasted for about 5 minutes. And she said she got all the info that was needed. Then he was diagnosed in 2014, 2 years after service. Complained while in service about snoring and fatigue. Did a sleep apnea test, and it came out negative. But diagnosed within 2 years and been dealing with it for 10 years. So while on active duty, he had they told him to do a neck surgery, or they wanted to do neck surgery, and he didn't do it. Was that it? I think that's what it is. So here we are. Oh, but then they asked me to do surgery while in service for my neck for snoring. So doesn't it count as in-service event or injury for me to support the claim? So that's when he came back here and said, forget about the surgery. Since I had the complaints such as falling asleep, the fatigue and the snoring, and the diagnosis within 2 years, doesn't it all count as continuity of care? Sleep apnea doesn't happen overnight.
And what I said was, what was the reason for the surgery on the neck? Because that can be counted as the in-service event. That's probably why, and he had the symptomology. That's probably why he got the CMP and the exam. But I wanted to know why he got the neck surgery. So that's why he said, forget the surgery.
Oh, okay.
And then now, okay, even though you were diagnosed 2 years after leaving service, you were not diagnosed while you were on active duty. You had symptomology.
I have a question here. The sleep apnea was negative. So do you still have a diagnosis even when the tests come back as negative?
I think he meant while he was on active duty, it was negative.
Okay.
But after leaving surgery 2 years later, he was diagnosed.
Okay, got you.
Right. So because they did the test while on active duty and it was negative, the only other in-service event that we have is the symptomology that he's explaining here. Hence, that's why he got the exam. Now, if you haven't got the results yet from the exam, or you haven't been rated yet, we don't know the outcome of that. We're only talking right now based on what you said.
Yes.
We can only give you our answer based off of what we see. We don't have your whole file in front of us to be like, oh yeah, this and that. We can't do that. We can only talk about what's in front of us right now.
Correct. All right. So let's see. I submitted an IMO and a DBQ from Dr. Sharma for my OSA claim, but the VA requested a CMP exam for clarification. Is that a bad sign?
No, it just means we didn't accept the IMO and the DBQ.
Yep.
For whatever reason.
Tina came back and said, shortly after separation, I was diagnosed because of an MST report. I'm sorry, this is what I meant. Is it plausible? I guess is what I meant.
Sure. She was diagnosed with migraines and OSA after her separation?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did the MST and the PTSD come before the diagnosis of OSA and sleep apnea?
Mm-hmm. That was my question. Yep. Part 5. Actually, I was given a sleep apnea machine after one year after and a month and before I was even diagnosed with OSA.
What? You got a sleep apnea before you had the diagnosis?
DJ, we are not the examiners. You don't have to plead your case to us. What I can tell you is this: you're gonna probably have to wait. If you have not had a rating decision done yet, wait to see the outcome of that rating decision and then come back and ask us all this stuff. Because what we'll tell you right now, it doesn't seem like you're going to be service connected. Based off of everything you're telling me or saying to us right now, because what'll happen is there's no nexus, there's no link back to service. Although you had symptomology in service, you didn't have a diagnosis. You didn't get diagnosed until after you left service. You had a sleep study in service, but it was negative. So therefore, no diagnosis, even with the symptomology. Mm-hmm. The symptomology continued. You went and got another sleep study, and lo and behold, you now have sleep apnea. It's post-service. Regardless if you had the symptomology in service, it's post-service.
And he's filing it secondary to GERD.
Mm-mm.
The OSA?
Yes.
Yeah, no. It's going to be no.
I just said that earlier. OSA secondary to GERD is a no.
I just want to know, how does GERD cause OSA, cause a respiratory? I know that it causes problems when sometimes the acid comes back up into your throat and it causes you to kind of gag and whatever. But that is a digestive and a respiratory. It can aggravate the respiratory. So
FF, they want you to elaborate more on the OSA and the migraine secondary again, please.
So with the generally speaking, or is this the person from earlier?
I think you were about what you were talking about, the person earlier, Tina earlier. They want you to repeat that. Elaborate.
Oh, okay. So if you got diagnosed in service, that's always better for any other condition that you're going to claim, because it gives you that event in service. So we don't have to go out searching and reaching for an additional nexus if you have the event in service. And the OSA, it doesn't matter the severity, but you do need a diagnosis of it. Like what Natural was saying earlier about the symptomology, it can say, yeah, maybe he was, or he or she was snoring. Maybe they had some other type of thing going on while they were sleeping, as far as like the breaths that they were taking, something to that effect. Mm-hmm. But those are just symptoms. So it doesn't drill down that it's OSA. So it's just easier if you have it in service or within that year after you get out, because it is a condition that, develops over time. It does not develop in 2 months. So I get that part. Yeah. And then with the migraines, if you have that in service, that's great as well. And those don't have to be severe. It could just be like headaches. You can have tension headaches, some type of throbbing. If you don't know what kind of headache it is that you're having, it needs to be documented. Continuity of care is great. So even when you get out, you're seeing your regular doctor. Hey, I'm still having these headaches. And if it's going to be secondary, you need to make sure that the primary is actively service connected. That is the easiest way. Now, can we connect aggravation to something else? Yes, but that's a big hill that, not saying you can't do it, but it takes a lot more to get over that hill. And you can also do the OSA to reach back earlier, what Natural was talking about with the intermediate step, where you can do it secondary. Just remember, it needs to preclude all of the activities, because they'll say, it's, calories in, calories out, something to that effect. So you need to make sure, if you have the weight gain, and like Natural said, we can submit the request for intermediate step that says, had the veteran or not have the back injury. It's pretty much the but-for statement.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll submit the request. A lot of the examiners, they come back and they'll say, it's calories in, calories out. Yeah, he hurt his back, but they are still able to go to work. They can do lightweight exercise. They can go to the pool, lift the little weights, kind of like what you see more of the older population doing, so it doesn't cause a lot of strain on the joints. So you have to make sure, if you're using that or you're going to claim it as an intermediate step, whatever it is that you're doing cannot be done. That is what it's going to take to get the intermediate step granted for you. Migraines, just keep seeing somebody. Make sure it's related to whatever the primary is. Sometimes, veterans might say, I got my migraines, after my PTSD, which you can do. But then if it gets denied, sometimes the veteran might get a little too creative. And you just want to make sure the story that you tell is consistent, so your record stays credible to the rater who's reviewing your information. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other part of that is those conditions cannot, like FF was saying, it cannot preclude your primary disability.
Correct.
So if you were diagnosed hypothetically with migraine, say 2019, OSA came in 2020, migraines can't be secondary to OSA. Also, with the obesity, the intermediate step, if you battled with weight gain in service, or you were on like a nutrition plan and extra PT or something in service, they're going to look at that too, because you already had a weight problem. Yes, you could have gained more because of the back injury, but they're going to say you had a problem with weight prior to the back injury.
Yes.
So that's why it's important to get your service treatment records and review it before you submit these claims.
And it's important you write the dates down of your diagnosis, because you can't have the other one outweigh the secondary date, outweigh the service connection. So you have to write the dates down. Yeah. Tommy, hello ladies, just resubmitted secondary OSA aggravated by service connected PTSD. I submitted all records and the VA now wants a 2142 or 2142A. Do I submit?
I think they mean 4142.
41. That's why I was like, huh? Do I submit a 4138 saying I submitted everything?
You can. If you don't, the 4142 and the 4142A is if you indicated that you were treated for on the outside by a different provider. So they want to request the private treatment records. Yeah. So yeah, if you indicated anywhere on that form that you are treated anywhere other than the VAMC, then they're going to want to request those records. If you submitted all the evidence, you can submit the 4138 or simply call the hotline and tell them that you have no other evidence to submit, and they will document it on the 0820.
And please make sure you read those records. You know, we'll get some files, and I know naturally, I know you've seen this too, and the veteran will say, yes, my migraines are, you know, well, we can just use the OSA. We'll say my OSA started after my PTSD. And then so you're getting treated at the VA, but then you filled out the form that says you can request my private medical records. So then we get those records and it shows, it's like, hey, they already had this, or it's associated with something else. So please make sure your records are to your benefit.
Yes.
When you're saying you can get my private records.
Right. Because
make sure it doesn't go against what you're claiming.
Yes.
Right. Yep, exactly.
That's why I say check the dates for when you are trying to connect the secondary to the service connection. Make sure. Let's see here. Discharge 2000, migraines within 6 months of discharge, trying to find a way to stop migraines, was then diagnosed OSA in 2015 and VA sleep study recently for bad CPAP.
You can't
forbid the CPAP.
You can't do migraine secondary to OSA. Oh wait, when were you diagnosed with the PTSD MST?
Did she say that earlier? Oh, she didn't. I don't know.
What year were you diagnosed? And how did they forbid you to do a CPAP? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I missed a couple. Hey, U.S. Army Grunt. Hope you guys, yeah, awesome. We had a great day. OSA was diagnosed heart issues before my PTSD 70% claim. Secondary, not a chance?
No, you can't do it because OSA precluded the PTSD.
Yeah. We were just talking about that. Let's keep going. Have you rated restless leg syndrome before? Neuritis. I cannot find what criteria defines each severity level. Impact daily life and sleep versus number of leg movements per hour. Hey, Queen Nurse.
That's a peripheral nerve, 8620. That's the sciatic nerve that they rated you under. So that goes under the peripheral nerve in the part 4. And they're rated on mild, moderate. I ain't gonna even say severe because we don't grant severe.
Severe never happens. Yeah.
Mild, moderate is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get either a 10 or a 20.
Yeah. And you can check your sleep study because it should be noted on your sleep study.
TL Daniels. You in the house, TL Daniels?
Oh, this from last night?
Yeah. Nexus letter. This is TL. Yep.
Oh, the empty letter.
Hey, Toya. You have those
Why
records?
did I have one today where the veteran wrote his own Nexus letters?
I just told them. You
was
can't
he a
write
doctor?
Letter.
No.
What do you mean natural? What did it say?
He wrote it just like I don't know how he knew the format, but he wrote it. I was reading, I was like, oh, it was a supplemental. I was like, oh, he had like 11 of them, right? And I started going through and I scrolled down to the bottom and I was like, oh, who wrote these or whatever? It was him. I said, what?
What did you put back in the narrative? What'd you say?
Did he sign the bottom?
He signed the narrative. He signed the Nexus, and he even gave me medical literature. He did his due diligence. I ain't gonna lie. The Nexus letters was pretty good, but I can't use them. For one, he's National Guard, so he had no active duty period.
Yeah.
But I was oh man, I was in the day.
She said 2015.
Her PTSD was diagnosed in 2015. And
yes.
And the headaches came in 2000. You can't do it. You can't do either because OSA was in 2014. Migraines was 2000. They precluded your PTSD. So you're going to have to find another way. You may be able to do it if you have a terror conceded. You may be able to do it on the PAC. If you deploy,
comments.
it's the crazy guy that play. You know what? Nobody don't need to know your business.
We
were
didn't
not
even
gonna
say
say that.
Why are you telling your own business?
He said
because he's spilling it now.
He telling
And there
y'all
was no
not to go
nexus
pay
in
for
his
a
nexus
nexus
letter.
letter that didn't have no nexus.
It didn't. It was void. I've never seen that before.
Seen that. Me neither. Yeah, that is absolutely.
It's sick.
You need a refund. You need to
He
dispute
telling
that
y'all,
part.
do not go and pay. Do not go and pay for a nexus letter. And guess what? If you pay for 17 nexuses, I need you to go to one or two.
I was going through it at the job today. These nexus letters was.
I read it 4 times. I said I must be missing it.
You ain't missing
I
nothing.
did too. You didn't miss it. It was not included. Do they? Let me ask you a question. When y'all pay for these, do y'all get to see the nexus before you submit payment, or you pay for them? No, I'm asking, do they get to read the nexus letter prior to them
They're
paying?
supposed to read it and approve it. I know that other guy, that Sharma, like he's really good, and they like look over it. He does all of that, and the veteran looks over it before the veteran submits it. You didn't get to see it.
No.
Oh no. You paid
okay. I won't pay for another one. Yeah, he didn't get to see it. He said he didn't get to see it.
No, that's not right. I need to see that contract. That's insane. You can't pay sight unseen.
I thought you get to read it before you pay for it. That's what I thought.
Yeah, because
you should have sent that thing.
No, Tommy, I didn't see you pack that question. Hold on, let me go back and look for your pack that question.
A nexus with no nexus and was paid.
Oh, y'all sending me tonight. We just getting started. Okay, not OSA question, but burn pits in Somalia. I have medical reports from allergic rhinitis and sinusitis and asthma. Is this enough to file for a PACT?
Yes.
Definitely. Okay. Oh, what she said. Tina said, I was discharged 11 days after I reported the MST.
Oh, wow. Oh, and then you got the migraine secondary to the PTSD. Is that what you're trying to?
Right.
Oh, okay.
But she just got service connected for that, right?
Yes.
So when did you leave service? What year?
I'll wait for
I think it was 2000, right?
I think it was 2000. She said 2000.
Yeah, migraines came 2000. OSA came 2014. PTSD, MST got service connected 2015. Yep. See, 2000. So that the migraines precluded.
Okay.
She reported the MST, but when did you get the official diagnosis of MST/PTSD or PTSD with MST? However you want to say it.
Yeah, because she might can do direct if she had complaints in service.
If you had the headaches in service, you can do that on a direct now.
Yeah.
Are you saying there's an exception to OSA diagnosis before PTSD rating with the PACT? Good question, Colin.
I mean, if they had the
it's not no exception. You can claim OSA due to toxic exposure. We're saying you can't claim OSA if it existed prior to you having a diagnosis of a mental health condition.
Unless he says maybe we aggravated it.
Unless it's aggravation. Tommy, those are 3 different conditions, Tommy. Rhinitis, sinusitis, and asthma, 3 different.
Yeah, they will be rated 3 different. Yeah.
Yes.
And usually, typically, if you don't have a 50% blockage for rhinitis, it's only going to be a 0%. It's only 10 if you have the 50% blockage. sinusitis, I think, what is it, up to 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you have the asthma with OSA, it'll be rated together. Now, if you get it and you're getting 2 ratings, I'm just saying somebody will probably come fix it later, but they do get rated together. I had one, they asked for an increase on the asthma, and they were also rated for the other one. You know, just they go together. So yeah, you're gonna lose one of those.
All right.
You will get the higher of the 2 though.
OSA is pending. So your OSA is pending, and you want to file for the rhinitis, the sinusitis, and asthma? Is that what you're saying, Tompi? So you filed for OSA already, and you want to file for the sinusitis, rhinitis, and asthma. You can. That's fine. It'll be 3 different. I haven't filed those yet. Yeah, you can file for them still. Hey, San Diego Marine. Natural or FF. I'm doing a 4138, put in thyroid, heart valve, hypertension on the same 4138 for Terra. How should I list it directed to Terra or some other way?
When did you get diagnosed? Was it, I mean, if it's during service, of course, you can always say direct, or if it's something that happened typically within, you know, the year after you got out, we are like, okay, that probably happened in service. And then if we can't connect it that way, that's when the Terra would come into play. And we're supposed to look at different theories when you're submitting your claims. But again, we're human. So you could phrase it as, you know, your thyroid, heart valve, hypertension, connected, direct, or Terra. Like you could write it that way to minimize, you know, any confusion. But we are supposed to look at different theories for you.
All right.
What you got to say, natural? Natural probably has a different way to say it.
Okay. No. You said it just fine. So I would just say, even if you claim it due to Terra, if we find in your STRs that you had any of treatment for or any complaints of these conditions, we will ask for a direct first, and then we'll probably ask for both at the same time.
I have a question. So why is it that Terra is not the first choice and it's the last choice when it's like connecting something?
Well,
that's because the benefit for the. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. We basically look for the best. Like FF was probably about to say, we look for the best theory of an entitlement that can potentially give service connection before we go to Terra. Terra is probably like the last resort that we go to. If you have absolutely nothing in service and we've conceded Terra, then, you know, that's the only reason why you're going to get an exam, is because we have no other way to look at it. And by law, we have to ask for that.
Okay, it makes sense. I just wanted to see. I mean, a lot of people ask me like, well, why is Terra the last resort, right? So I wanted to have, you know, understanding about it.
And it's also in the narrative. We list out, like, we'll ask for Terra if there's no other way to link it. Like, we put it in the narrative when they are given an examination for it.
Terra is toxic exposure. Terrence. All right, let's see here. If rated 0% for a deviated septum, have CT scans from the VA showing total blockage, have had steroids and everything under the sun to help with the deviated septum, constant sinus headache, can I ask for an increase?
Are you asking for an increase for deviated septum? Or are you trying to ask for a secondary for like a sinus issue? Because typically, unless your deviated septum is traumatic, it only is awarded a 0. If it's traumatic, it's a 10, I believe.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, FF, but I believe
No,
that's
you
how
got
it is. So if your deviated septum is now causing you like to have sinusitis or rhinitis, then you could, or if you already service connected for sinusitis and rhinitis, then you could ask for an increase. But if that deviated septum is not traumatic, it's going to be rated with one of those, sinusitis or rhinitis.
Hope that
Yeah,
helps.
make sure you have a diagnosis for the other two. That might be part of the issue, because even if he had just submitted like for the increase, like we should have brought it in unless there's no. Do you have a diagnosis for either of those, Jason?
So, guys, before we get carried away in questions, let's get back to the sleep apnea and the sleep disturbance, and so we can get to questions. Where we left off was the medical diagnosis criteria generally for the sleep study. Natural. I'm not about to bite my tongue tonight. You go ahead.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Go ahead, FF, because you know this is not my subject.
So the apnea and the hypopnea index, which is less than 5 with symptoms, or the AHI is greater than 15, regardless of the symptoms. And the symptoms can include loud snoring, gasping, choking, daytime fatigue, and morning headaches. Before you got here, FF, we talked a little bit about snoring, because most people think because they have snoring, then they automatically have sleep apnea. Or they have sleep apnea because they associate loud snoring with sleep apnea. But in order to be diagnosed, you have to meet the criteria here. It has to show these. It's either greater than 5 or less than 15, and the symptoms including these right here.
So are you guys taking screenshots? Oh no, they can come back and
look at this. Yeah. So let's look at the definition between insomnia and talk about some symptoms. Insomnia is the sleep initiating or maintenance disorder where a person cannot fall asleep or stay asleep despite adequate opportunity. The chronic inability to initiate or maintain sleep. The symptoms include difficulty falling asleep, frequent awakenings, or early morning awakenings, and the maybe primary are linked to other conditions. So you have to have a medical diagnosis, and here's the criteria. Difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep or early awakening. It occurs more than 3 nights per week, and it lasts for more than 3 months. It causes significant distress or impairment. It's not explained by another sleep order, substance, or medical condition. You have to have a diagnosis of insomnia, and the evidence, you have to have evidence it began or worsened during service. Now, the nexus with the military service or secondary condition, especially PTSD and chronic pain or TBI. You have all of that CLN. So insomnia is rated under the mental health general rating formula. Remember, we said insomnia and sleep disturbance is rated under the mental health, and sleep apnea is rated under respiratory. Okay. Possible ratings is 0%. If your symptoms are not severe enough to interfere with the functioning, then you get 10% for mild symptoms, 30% for occasional decrease in work efficiency, 50% if the reduced reliability and productivity, and 70% where you have deficiencies in most areas. The key evidence when you're filing a claim is you have to have a diagnosis from a mental health provider. You have to have your sleep logs and the nexus linking the insomnia to the service or the secondary condition, meaning PTSD or any type of chronic pain. Lay statements describing the sleep impairment also can help. Anything, ladies?
Just with insomnia, it had to, for it to be a standalone condition, it had to be diagnosed while on active duty. If it was not diagnosed while on active duty, if you are service connected for another mental health, it will be combined with that mental health, because one of the symptoms under those mental health is chronic sleep impairment, which insomnia falls under that.
Mm-hmm. Anything FF? We're good?
Yeah, that's good.
So let's talk about some symptoms, not standalone diagnosis, when it comes to sleep disturbance. Nightmares, fragmented sleep, difficulty staying asleep. You have hyperarousal, meaning that it's related to you waking up all the time, but it's often associated with PTSD, anxiety, and depression, chronic pain, or a TBI. When we look at sleep disturbance and what the VA looks for, sleep disturbance cannot be rated separately. Okay, it cannot be rated separately. It is considered a symptom of another condition, such as PTSD. So, in order to get this service connected, the key evidence that you're going to be needed for your VA claim: mental health evaluations. Then you have documented sleep disturbance within your service treatment records. You need to have some lay statements describing your nightmares and the type of fragmented sleep that you've been experiencing, and also a nexus linking the disturbance to the diagnosed condition. Oh, I have to shrink this down a little so you guys can see. So let's look at a side-by-side comparison. This is where I really want you guys to take a snapshot and make sure that you are looking at this. So it's the feature: sleep apnea, insomnia, and disturbance. The type: sleep apnea is a breathing disorder. Insomnia is sleep initiation maintenance disorder, and it must be diagnosed in service to a standalone, otherwise grouped with mental health. Sleep disturbance is a symptom and not a diagnosis. Okay, the diagnosis needed for sleep apnea is a sleep study. For insomnia, mental health diagnosis. And for sleep disturbance, there is no standalone diagnosis. The VA rating for sleep apnea is 0 to 100%. For insomnia is 0 to 100%. And sleep disturbance is not rated, it's rated under underlying condition. The common causes for sleep apnea is airway obstruction, which is neurological, insomnia, stress, PTSD, or chronic pain, and sleep disturbance, PTSD, anxiety, or TBI. The key evidence that you need for sleep apnea is the study and the CPAP machine. The key evidence that you need for insomnia: your mental health evaluation will need to have evidence to show that you have insomnia. It has to be annotated. And for the sleep disturbance, evidence of the underlying condition. So let's talk about the tips for a successful VA sleep claim. Do not claim sleep disturbance alone. If you have breathing issues, claim sleep apnea. If you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, claim insomnia. If related to PTSD, claim PTSD with sleep disturbance. This is where a lot of veterans do not understand, because they want to claim sleep disturbance by itself. You need to provide some lay statements describing the symptoms and make sure that you have a nexus letter to connect the conditions to service. Document your symptoms. Make sure you get the medical treatment and how it impacts your life. Obtain medical opinions linking sleep condition to service or service-connected disability. Use a lay and buddy statements where needed. So FF, I have the, hold on, let me start sharing this. So we were able to find some more medical evidence for you guys. I hope you guys will see it. Am I sharing? And I'm going to put this in the description so you guys can use this as some medical evidence for you when it comes to sleep apnea. So, FF, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I wish it's fine. I'll do it. I'll do this.
Okay.
But this one, once you give them the link, I want you all to read this article because it's linking it in the way most veterans claim it.
Can you blow it up a little bit? Sorry to interrupt you, FF.
Oh, no, you're fine. When they go through this article, it's going to break it down. It's going to show additional locations, like the ranges, the impact that it has. And you'll be able to kind of see where if you get denied for some and you're like, well, I have the OSA or the obstructive sleep apnea because of my post-traumatic stress disorder. It goes through the rates. It tells you how prevalent it is, of course, for veterans. And when I look at the articles, that's what I like to use because, again, it drills it down and it's more focused on the veteran population.
Yes, it is.
So when you're doing your additional evidence and, ultimately trying to get, an exam, when you're submitting this information, you're saying, hey, I was here, I was exposed to this condition in the veteran population exceeds by, XYZ amount. This one is using the PTSD and the OSA, and they're intertwined here. But I want you to, when you read it, I want you to try to drill down on what part is making it connect. Okay. It's going to show that the rate is higher for OSA in the veteran population.
Right here. Yep.
And yes, it's gonna show that information in there. It also is gonna show like the age range and which part they were located in for these different exposures. It ties it in for you. So let's say you were, in Afghanistan and you're just like, I was there, I wasn't sure what happened, because you may not know you have OSA or the obstructive sleep apnea, which I think is also another part of the issue we have with the claim, is because some veterans are thinking like, I can't sleep. When I was over there, this happened, I kept coughing or whatever the situation is. It ultimately stopped you from getting the rest that you wanted. So sometimes that's what the veteran will write. They'll say, I can't sleep. I couldn't, I'd snore and was scared myself and I woke up. And then so you might claim a insomnia or a sleep impairment. But this gives you the definition. It tells you what the risks were for the group in the location where they were. It also tells you, most importantly, the definition of the sleep apnea in its relation to the PTSD. You don't have to connect it to PTSD. This is just one of the more prevalent ways that veterans use to connect the two.
All right, guys, got it? So I'm going to put this article in the description so you guys can grab it and use it for, as part of your medical evidence. Okay.
Yeah, signs and symptoms, they are valid. And again, you may know like you're feeling something, you just aren't sure what it is. And that's okay, because when your sleep is impaired, it affects other things. And sometimes, PTSD or anxiety or whatever that primary condition is affecting your OSA. You just have to remember that the obstructive sleep apnea is a respiratory condition and not a sleep impairment. So I hope you all look at the list again that was just on the screen that breaks out what it is. That way we can claim the respiratory condition versus the inability to sleep.
All right. So we are finishing up here. Let's finish up here really quick, and then we'll get back to you guys' questions. Let's talk about the common mistakes that are made when you are claiming insomnia or sleep apnea. Claiming sleep apnea without a sleep study. You guys claim sleep apnea without a sleep study all the time. I think because you say you have snoring, that automatically you say, well, hey, I'm snoring and I have fatigue, so I automatically have sleep apnea. I'm claiming a sleep disturbance as a standalone disability. Remember, it is not linking insomnia to mental health condition and assuming that a CPAP automatically guarantees you service connection. I hear it all the time. Oh, they gave me a CPAP machine, so I can claim sleep apnea. Right? And not submitting buddy statements also. You have to have some, supporting evidence to go along with it. Just because you have a CPAP machine does not mean that you automatically is guaranteed a sleep apnea disability rating. Okay? I think that is it for us. So the summary is sleep apnea is a breathing disorder. It requires a sleep study. Insomnia is related to a mental health condition and is rated under mental health. Sleep disturbance is a symptom and not a diagnosis, and the VA rates each of them significantly different, and proper documentation is essential if you want to be approved for sleep apnea or insomnia. All right? So let's get into the questions that you guys have here. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Oh, we answered that. I'm confused how it shows terror on my PTSD approval, but no clue.
They granted your PTSD due to terror? Do you have combat? Because typically we don't request mental health for terror. So somebody could have put the terror conceded on there, but it doesn't mean, it shouldn't mean that that's why it was service connected. We typically link PTSD due to combat for fear or personal trauma, something like that. It's not due to terror.
Hey, how do you have relevant in SBS STRs recoded from government facility records from a prior decision to use in a new sleep apnea claim? Do you wait for the HLR or use the same STR to be associated with a new claim? Thanks in advance.
So the word on a new supplemental claim, what I think they're asking is, do you have relevant? So if we use your STRs to get your first exam and medical opinion, your STRs won't be used it can't be used when you file a supplemental claim. It's new and relevant evidence. So if we use that in the first time, only way we go back and look at it is, we go back and look at it as supplemental, because technically you're saying you're disagreeing with why we denied something or an evaluation. So typically we'll go back and look at what was used to decide that claim. If we find that it was in error, we will correct it. If we find that nothing was wrong, we typically will CNC it and tell you that we consider the evidence, but it's not new and relevant to the claim that you have filed for the supplemental. Me personally, if you have a HLR for these conditions, then you probably need to wait for the HLR to go ahead and finish up before you start trying to add other things. So the HLR will do exactly what I just said. They're going to go back and look at how you claimed it, how we adjudicated it. If there was a mistake, the DRO will send back the claim to whatever RO and tell us what we need to do to to adjudicate the claim.
Okay. Have anything, FF?
No, that's exactly what I would do.
My fragmented sleep is blood pressure meds. Have to go to the bathroom 3 to 4 times a night.
So your sleep is linked to your hypertension, your fragmented sleep, basically. If you have hypertension, then you should claim a voiding dysfunction or a urinary infrequency to that hypertension due to the medication.
Yep. Clemson alumni. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea after service in 2012. If I secondary connect my OSA to my PTSD, who would I see for a nexus letter? The sleep doctor or my therapist?
OSA is a respiratory, so you need a pulmonologist or something like that to try to create a nexus for that. But you were diagnosed after service. This is the part you guys are kind of like missing. It just went through the whole PowerPoint. If you had symptomology in service, symptomology will grant you an exam because of the symptomology. The examiner will try to give us the link to if it's at least likely or less likely. Possible terror, medical opinion on OSA if we can't link it to your secondaries. If you're missing the in-service event, regardless of symptomology, chances of connecting OSA to service is slim. Have you heard? What is that saying? Have you heard
about medicine causing OSA? Example, gabapentin.
No. I've heard medications can aggravate conditions, cause other conditions, but never heard of medication causing OSA.
Anything, FF? Guys, any more questions? We've been here for almost an hour and a half, and I didn't want to make this live too long because I want people to come back and be able to review it and get everything that they need, in the time.
You did good. I think you covered it. I think we made it clear the differences with the sleep disorders and obstructive sleep apnea. Just one's, respiratory.
Remember no, we didn't, because tomorrow in the queue.
Well, that's already in the queue before we did this.
People still, the thing is, veterans are going to do what veterans going to do, regardless of the education purpose. If they think that there's a possibility for them to get service connected, they're going to do it. We try to educate you guys to save yourself some frustration. I know that there's a lot of misinformation put out here, not here, like on social media and things of that nature. So just be mindful of things. We're not saying don't file it. You guys can file whatever you would like. We're just saying that if you do not have a diagnosis of certain conditions on active duty, even to be honest, I don't know why they say do it to a mental health. I've probably only maybe seen 1 or 2, maybe 3 that they actually link to a mental health.
Wow.
And I don't know about you, FF, but I rarely see it. So I kind of disagree with them saying claim it secondary to a mental health, because all the ones I've seen have been denials.
Wow.
What, for the insomnia?
No, the OSA too.
Oh, yeah, like if Well, the ones that I've seen are depression and alcohol abuse disorder.
Okay.
Those,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even have to be, you can just think of somebody who probably shouldn't drink
Mm-hmm.
and they had too much to drink, and they're fine, but when they're intoxicated, it weighs heavier on the body, literally.
Okay.
And that messes with the amount of pressure that's on the throat.
Mm-hmm.
So it impairs the respiratory, the amount of breaths that they can take. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll hear them like take longer, deeper breaths. Sometimes you'll hear them stop breathing. Um, but if they're not intoxicated, they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it connected a lot with well, I don't want to say a lot in like wrong context, but most often with depression
Mm-hmm.
and alcohol use disorder.
So they have like major depressive disorder with alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I have not really I have not really, that's why I said I don't agree with them saying it's linked to PTSD. If it's linked to PTSD or any mental, then why is it so hard to get it service connected?
I think maybe
That's
they're asking for the wrong thing sometimes. Like I'll
I
read the
think so too.
restatement.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the correlation, they're asking for the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
like,
so.
that's not
Trying
what
to
they
put it to
meant.
GERD and trying to put it to back pain
Mhm.
and putting it to IBS. Like it's hard to explain to them that it's not sleep. And I think they're so focused on the sleep because if you have IBS, right, you're not sleeping a lot, you're going to the bathroom all the time. So they're correlating the sleep part, but it's not sleeping, it's respiratory.
Right. Like the
Yeah.
person said they had fragmented sleep
Yes.
and their blood pressure. Right there, I can tell you the link. It's the blood pressure that's causing your
Yep.
sleep because you're getting up, going to the bathroom so often.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Based
more
on hypertension meds. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
Yep. Like a sleep impairment, not necessarily even OSA.
Right.
Before we get into any else, Sandra, hold on. What's the current wait time for 4 HLRs? A great presentation. Oh, baby, I don't know. It depends on
It depends on, yeah, it's
depends on the day.
164.
When it comes to a HLR, sometimes some people get it in 3-4 weeks, some people get in 30 days, and then some people be waiting 90 days. It depends.
It's just like some claims we'll get it today and it'd be ready for decision tomorrow. It just depends.
Before we go any further, there's one thing I wrote down, and I want you guys to talk a little bit about is claiming weight loss. I mean, obesity. Because a lot of people, and I've done a couple consultations with some ladies who were chaptered out for, being overweight. And I guess
Right.
they were instructed that when they get out because they were chaptered for it, it's automatically service connected. And they're like, hey, we can file because I guess somebody on TikTok was doing a live and they instructed them that they can file for obesity and know that obesity cannot be filed as a standalone.
No, it's not even
We don't recognize obesity as a
like
disability.
Correct. And I wanted to have that conversation because when we talk about sleep apnea and the intermediate step when it comes to obesity, a lot of people think like, hey, why can't I file for obesity alone because I was chaptered out for being overweight?
So obesity is typically due to something, right? So like I said, the VA does not recognize obesity as a compensable disability. It
right.
can be a bridge,
Yes.
for so like we
Mhm.
talked about earlier, like the back to the made them gain
OS.
weight.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that to OSA, but it's typically something that led to that. Like it could be hypertension that your back led to you gaining weight, which led to you getting hypertension. or some other type of disability like diabetes, because of the diabetes or medications you take for diabetes, it made you gain weight, which led to this. That's anything with a BMI like 25 to 30 plus is going to be in that obese range.
Yes.
And that's what we use to recognize obesity, but obesity itself is not a disability. I mean,
at all.
It can
For
lead
VA
to
purposes.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys got that. Just because you've been chaptered out, that you cannot file obesity standalone.
And it's tracked like and we know things happen, if you injured yourself and that caused the weight gain and you got chaptered out for it, that's a totally different situation, because your obesity just ended up being a product of, but not the reason for. And if there are several instances that show in the record, like this veteran was advised, what to do, because they have the plans, like it's in the record. So we can see how many times they said, hey, we're going to put you on this program to get you to your weight. We're going to do XYZ. And that's, either or. And not every veteran is malicious. It's just there are some instances where they know, like, hey, this, I can go home if I do XYZ. But it'll be clear in the record, because we literally see every time they told you what you had to do to maintain standard. So I don't know if the person that these other veterans are listening to are just saying, like, hey, when you get out, file it. Like it doesn't work that way if you contribute, that it's willful at that point.
Yeah.
I guess is a better way for me to say it.
That makes sense. Yeah. San Diego Marie said, what about muscle relaxers aggravate sleep apnea from service-connected DDD?
If you, I'm sorry, let me say something real quick. If you guys want to read up on the obesity stuff and you just love to go into the CFR, I think it's under 3.310A. I think 38 CFR 3.310A.
I cannot help you out. So
I think that's it.
It is. You're right. Yes.
And then you can look up standalone for obesity. I think that is 4.112, I think.
Let me see. You said 4.112?
Yeah, I think that's for
yes, weight loss and nutrition. Yes.
Yeah. And then the other one was 3.310A. I think that's the one that talks about obesity.
Yes.
Give them the other one for insomnia.
You making my brain work harder. I am off duty, guys. I'm off duty.
I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the description.
I think insomnia is 4.130.
Let me see here. Hold on.
38 CFR 4.130.
Yes. Mental health.
Okay.
Yep. I'll put it in the description. Okay, so let's see what we have here. And this is the question about the DDD. Can muscle relaxers aggravate sleep apnea from service-connected DDD?
Because muscle relaxers like relax your body, I could see that it could possibly aggravate your sleep apnea. I mean, you gotta look at it. When y'all get that little pamphlet that they tell you the side effects and what it could potentially do. Yeah, read that.
I saved those a lot. I saved those a lot, and that's how I was able to learn a lot of how to get it connected because of the symptoms off of those. Yes. That's a teachable moment right there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would believe that it will relax the throat muscles, I guess, because of it. And it would probably worsen the sleep,
true.
because it's more like a sedative,
Yeah.
So I would say, and this is just my opinion. I mean, I
It
would say
functions in the same way, kind of like the alcohol. That's
yeah. I do believe that it would aggravate the sleep apnea.
Yeah. Hey, the real dark one, you missed it. Somebody want to talk about causation versus aggravating.
What about it?
What about it, San Diego Marine? Do you want to understand it, or you want an explanation of what is causation versus aggravation? Because aggravation is when something is, aggravated beyond.
I thought didn't we talk about causation
that in a few lives? Yeah, we talked about causation versus aggravation a few lives ago.
Because causation is a direct, and aggravation is like a pre-existing. That's the easiest way I can say it.
So I got partial rated with a private foot DBQ at one RO. Claim moved to another RO, and this RO said the DBQ is insufficient. I need to resubmit with Ingram language. How do I do that? I have to explain this to a civilian. Oh, this is a super chat. Look, y'all, why
didn't we just call?
Why did it just call? Thank you.
Right, because if you can't get whoever did that private DBQ because of the Ingram law, they have to include even the exams from from the contractors have to include that Ingram law within because we have to take into consideration the medication aspect of it. So yeah, you just probably have to, if not, you're gonna go to a VA exam.
I don't like this because I'll call because again, why?
To eliminate you, doing all the extra,
Yeah. Now you could go ahead and contact your civilian provider. It's only like 4 questions. So and you can just say, hey, I need you to address this from, the exam you did on me, and then just submit it back to us.
Yeah, it's basically like a question on like, I can't remember how it says, but it's basically like, does this veteran take medication for this condition? If they say yes, I can't remember all of it, but it's just basically like they're asking questions about medication.
You can just explain it to your civilian doctor. It's only, I think, like 4 questions.
Yeah. Just ask them to do an addendum. Ask them to do
to the DBQ.
Ask them, can they do an addendum to the DBQ? If not, you're gonna have to go to a VA exam. They can't just take it from you.
Yeah.
They're gonna probably send you to a VA exam, and depending on what that examiner says.
I wonder why. Well, let me not say that.
So this is one of the prime example, right? We talked about earlier. I don't know if you guys were here earlier when we talk about reading your nexus, and when it comes to your DBQs, like you have to make sure before you submit them that you have all the questions answered and all the boxes checked, I's dotted and T crosses, right? Because of instances like this where the rater could have actually reached out and got the questions answered, but now look, where you have to go. So make sure you guys are reading your nexus letters before you are making payment. I'm going to say it again. Ask to review your nexus letter before you make payment. Okay? Please and thank you.
Yeah, and when you call your private provider, if you don't want to cause too much chaos, they can do what Natural was saying about the addendum, and they could just write it, in that remarks section and just say veteran not taking medication, something, to that effect.
Yes. So make sure you're reading also your DBQs before you submit them, because providers are not, they're sometimes it's going too fast and they just miss checking the box, right? So you have to read the stuff that, the provider is sending. Okay, we got another question. I know what 10% of high blood pressure is. When the rater documents your HBP, what or where do they get them from? Only from your medical records if I did an ACE exam.
Oh, you shouldn't have did an ACE for high blood pressure. Well, unless they had unless they had them take blood pressures at home, but typically you should not, because they require on the exam three different blood pressures. Now, typically what I will do, I don't use the blood pressures on the exams. I will go, if they have private treatment records or they have VA.MC, I will flip over there and go under their vitals and look at their BPs that way. And then I'll add up the ones like in recent months, and then I'll do an average of the blood pressures, and that's how we get your blood pressure readings.
So one of the things that I usually tell my clients to do is like every week, like I get them to take their blood pressure from Monday to Friday, and at the end of the week submit that to your provider, right? So they have documentation of your numbers during the week, so you'll know, they'll look at those numbers as well.
Yeah, because it can determine whether your medication needs to increase. And don't take your medicine. Veterans stop taking their medicine when they go to these exams and their blood pressure be like 180 over 100. You're going to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's stroke.
Yeah. So annotate your blood pressure. Like take your blood pressure Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this has worked for a lot of my clients. On Friday evening, you're going to take those blood pressures and put it in My Healthy Vet, and just send a note to your provider saying, these are my blood pressures for the week of April 13th to 17th, Monday to Friday, right? So they have documentation as to what your blood pressure were during the week, and they can see the pattern while you're taking your medicine, right? And even if your medicine's not working, they still have the documentation to see that you're on medicine and it's still elevated, but not just don't take your medicine. That's crazy.
Please take it, please.
They called me. I didn't even know I was having it. They asked what usually my high blood pressure is at home, and they said she sees my records.
Oh, that's you should have hung up on them and called them and told them, I know you effing lying, because what?
Listen, y'all. So Natural does not like ACE exams, and FF loves ACE exams, right? So they differ, and I wanted to explain to you guys why she's saying that. But Natural likes ACE exams. It doesn't like
no. Yeah, I don't like them.
FF loves ACE exams, so that's why she's telling you you should have hung up on them, because she can't stand the ACE exam.
I feel like it takes away from the. Well, I mean, I know, like in rural areas, some veterans, they can't get out. Right. And I know there are some circumstances where we ACE exams have to be performed, because if a veteran is bedridden, it takes a lot to, move, or they are quadriplegic or something like that. I know there's instances where, ACE has to be done. I'm not saying they're all bad. I just don't like them because I feel like that you can't accurately depict, like how you gonna do a range of motions on the back? If what you gonna hold the little thermometer up and say, okay, it looks like about a 40-degree angle? No. I don't think that. No, absolutely not. I'll be like, no, I'm going to an exam. You better find me somebody. So, you don't have
like
to.
If a veteran submits a claim and they're asking for an increase and they get all their treatment and everything is done at the VAMC. Everything is there. And if they're asking for an increase based off of that evidence and they're like, I'm good to go, you know, maybe the pain increased, right? I don't see anything wrong with the examiner looking at the overall evidence of record, saying, hey, okay, so they got this range of motion last time the veteran went to the doctor. And if it's less than like 3 months, why not? It's already there. We already have the numbers from the exam you did at the hospital. Like, why would I send them out?
See why you see guys why they differ?
No, because I could just be on that day I went to the doctor. That could have been an all right day, right? That could have been an all right day, right? Today I could have flare-ups. Just because you see my records from one time or whatever over a period of time, it doesn't actually depict, you know, how you are actually, you know what I'm saying, feeling at that moment. You know,
that's why they called. They called this person.
No,
like, hey,
no.
So somebody said, FF, what if your condition changes for the worse?
Right.
I don't call. You can send a statement. You can call Tyrone.
Now you come to you gonna see me. I'm sorry. You gonna see me. You better not call me. You better not. I'm gonna be like, no. No.
This is the prime example, guys. To see, they're two amazing raters, but they're different, right? So it just goes to show how they put their heart and soul into what they like and what they prefer, and still be able to perform an amazing job at what they do, right? Even with differences.
Yeah, like I don't send anybody out for a migraine. I don't send anybody out for OSA. If I can do something to not make the veteran go out, that's what I'm going to do.
Now those conditions are different, okay? Because if you got a sleep study, you got the CPAP, stuff like that, I can see. If I look in your VAMC or you got private treatment records, okay, I'll go with that, right? I'm because I'm looking at it, I'm doing what the examiner do, a records review, right? Okay, if the veteran has uploaded a migraine log, I can look at that. They uploaded a sleep log. I can look at that. Yeah. That I agree. But when you telling me a ACE for a knee and a back and no, absolutely not. Y'all better go and mental health possibly, yeah, I could see ACE, you know, but other stuff, nah.
Yeah, I mean, some things you do have to touch and feel. If the evidence of record isn't recent, then no, I'm not going to send them out. Typically, I'll do like 3 months because that's what we would do anyway. If a veteran submits some claim for increase and it's like, okay, we gave them an increase 4 months ago, we're going to look at the evidence of record. We're going to say, hey, do you have anything else? And that's just how I would treat it. But if it's older, then yes, they need to see somebody else because it could have changed. But typically, if it's 3 months,
y'all let them do ACE if you want to.
Listen, zero boundaries. What are you doing? About to submit claim for 10 conditions. It is recommended to submit a 21-4138 for every condition. Or do you recommend to submit 4138 with the headers explaining each condition?
Now FF is going to probably tell y'all, do one for each. Mark is going to say, man, if you don't put a paragraph of each one of them on 141, I hate opening up 10, 15, 20, 4138 for 50 different contentions. And then I got a list of, no, absolutely not. If you got 10, you better make don't make no book. Don't make no book. You say.
So wait.
No.
So FF, you believe that if a person has 52 contentions, they need 52 letters?
My thing is this. If you file in 52, good luck to you. But if you are filing multiple claims, and let's say you did them incorrectly, we had to send some back, and maybe you need to do another form. So the person who has the first 5 may not be the same person that has the second 5.
Understood.
I think it would be easier for the person, the rater that's doing the claim, to see exactly what it is they're looking at, as to avoid frustration from the claims that they aren't involved in. Now, if you're doing like 4 claims, that's a wonderful number. We love 4 claims.
10 is the
lowest. 1. I love 1.
But natural, and this is going to be my question, natural. Like, how many contentions then are you expecting with that 14138?
Well, I would say honestly, what I would do, you could submit a 4138, but I would say, right, even I these long lay statements too, they kind of.
I tell them all the time that they're
the lay statements are very long.
Yeah,
they're getting longer.
You do. Yeah, I mean they're getting like a dissertation.
Yeah, something's happening outside.
I don't know what's going on.
We're doing a live on and we're gonna create a lay statement on live so you guys can see exactly how like short and precise it can be, and not lengthy and long and drawn out. And
y'all stop using Chat GPT.
Because they can tell.
Write your lay statements, because the way Chat GPT writes stuff is not the way that most veterans talk.
Okay.
Get to the point.
Tell them that you guys can know that you guys know when they write Chat GPT. Tell them that you are well aware, because sometimes Chat GPT talks such standard English, and veterans sometimes they ain't putting that on.
Well, we can look at prior statements and tell that you did not write it. But what I would say to zero bounds is this. If you feel that you need to write 10, go ahead and write 10. We're not saying that. I'm just saying, if you're going to write it, don't draw it out. You just list the condition and why you feel like it should be service connected, and basically how it impacts your life. That's it. You don't have to go into, well, when I was in the military, blah, 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 blah. Then by the time I get to the last 2 sentences, you are telling me why this condition should be service connected. Tell me that in the beginning.
And let's see here. Thank you, ladies. Doctor will do it. I read it, but it seems good. And I thought the Ingram language was not needed. But since it's musculoskeletal, I would get it done and in. I got 6 items rated off this, so I'm going to get it done. Oh, awesome.
You better. Because if you know what I'm thinking, you will hurry up.
Hurry up. If you know, I'm not going to say, go ahead. Hey, Jason.
I don't know why they didn't just call. That just upsets me.
So the Ingram language has to go into any musculoskeletal DBQ, even for the VBA. If we get a DBQ and it doesn't include it, we send it back.
And we can call. We can call. It's literally in 1021. We can call to resolve discrepancies.
FF will call, but that's
not doing that.
Because look at what they about to have to go through. It's just unnecessary.
And
he's the one decided to go get a private DBQ.
But he said he did read it and it seemed good. So, and sometimes veterans really don't even be knowing what is required of a DBQ. They just know that it's a positive for them in some kind of light, and they're just going to do it. So I totally, get it from their, how they usually go about and get it.
I hope
y'all be going to get these. Y'all be going to get these private DBQs because y'all don't like them 10s and zeros we be giving y'all that y'all really supposed to have.
Y'all got to listen to that committee hearing from today, because baby, that lady that was in charge of the VA, they took her to the cross today.
Oh,
Well,
I can't.
Jason said, I have a question. Why do the duty to assist state that they try to contact me but never receive a call? Is there a way that I can look up if they call?
you know what?
They probably called.
But listen, a lot of you don't update your addresses or
your phone number,
and they don't answer the phone.
And y'all don't answer phone, maybe because it comes from an 800 number. Because the way we have to call
now that you can't, that they ask you who's calling, and if you guys don't answer, you miss it.
Yeah, the way that we call now is through Teams. We used to have phones, but when we integrated to Teams, we call the veteran through Teams. And I'm not sure what number comes up. It should be 800-871-1000, but I'm not sure what number comes up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I always have to call like 4 or 5 times, but I know because they're like, I don't know this number. So
man. And some people don't have their voicemail set up, so you can't leave a voicemail.
Yep.
And I don't know now, most services are asking for, state your name for who you're calling, and then it's ringing behind the scenes, and the rate. Some people might not say their name. Even if they say their name, you're not going to know who that person is, so you're going to automatically send it to voicemail.
Or sometimes the veterans at work and they can't
answer. Colin is recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, filed on the PAC that, but have multiple claims to follow. Should I wait for the PAC that 100% temporary to conclude, or just go ahead and submit all at once?
You're attempt 100 for prostate cancer right now. So if you are, what will happen is we'll have a routine future attached to that. Now, some people give 6 months. Me, I give a year when it comes to cancers. Yeah.
Such a blessing.
I'm nice, so I'm a nice person. I just tell you.
That's so sweet.
Anyway, so with the prostate cancer, we can't rate any residuals that is related to prostate cancer until after the cancer is gone into remission.
Okay. He said
so. That's how it. So he's not rated yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you claiming the prostate cancer due to? He said terror. I know terror, but what exactly?
He said, yeah. Oh, we'll wait for him to answer.
You can file it due to terror.
And this time getting robocalls every day. Folks are hesitant. Yep. Correct.
Yeah, those spam. We might come up.
Oh, he said PAC that.
Well, you would technically have to see if they were granted under PAC. I don't know what your toxic exposures are, or if you were deployed to a Gulf War, or I'm not sure your age or what era you served in.
Presumptive. Okay.
Well, prostate cancer. Well, they have. Well, like I said, I'm not sure. It's a whole bunch of.
I know we can do Agent Orange, right?
Yeah,
it depends on his time in service. Oh, he said Gulf War. 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gulf War, if you serve, because now they have all those new presumptive cancers under Gulf War, and I've actually seen prostate cancer because it falls under the genitourinary. So you would technically be filing it under Gulf War, not terror. If that's what you went under, you would do it due to Gulf War service, Southwest Asia service.
Okay, BJ wants to know, can you say no for an ACE exam? She was telling me to do the exam or cancel the exam. I didn't know the exam was coming. They call with no caller ID call.
Oh yeah, they do come up like that. Yes. You can tell.
You can say no.
No. You can say I want to do
in-person exam.
Exactly. It's like y'all been saying, I don't want to go to no CMP exam. Decide my claim on the evidence of record. Okay, cool.
Now
y'all
you can say
private,
no.
when y'all send them private DBQs, I like when y'all say that.
Oh
like,
gosh.
Y'all make my life a little bit more easier, especially if that DBQ is insufficient. Because guys, what y'all have to understand when y'all pay for these private DBQs is that we look at the evidence of record, the entire picture, plus the evidence you're submitting. So a lot of times we get these private DBQs and they say total and social impairment, and then they check every box under the symptomology. Then we go over and look into the VAMC. You don't have no chronicity of care. You haven't seen nobody since you left service. The evidence of record we don't have any evidence to support that. This is a person you've never seen, never treated you. You just paid them to give you this DBQ.
Yep.
How do you think that's going to go over?
Not well at all. Not well at all.
Not in my queue.
No,
somebody else's maybe, but
and then they'll be complaining later when it gets corrected, because
we don't have the evidence to support it. And then a lot of you guys are paying for DBQs with no medical opinions. So if you're going to pay for the DBQ, get that provider to write a medical opinion. So that's what happens a lot of time when y'all submit private DBQs. There's no link, there's no nexus. So then we still send you for an exam because we don't have a medical opinion.
Yep.
And that'll be in your narrative. We'll say we received your DBQ. However, no link or nexus was provided, or rationale insufficient.
Or you ask for a nexus and then the providers say they haven't reviewed your records.
Yeah, if they don't review your records, we can't accept that DBQ either. If they check that, because basically all they're going off of is what you're saying and the documents that you provided them, right? They don't have the overall evidence like we would have the overall evidence. We do the same thing with VA contract exams, our VHA examinations. The same way we treat a private DBQ is the same way we treat the contract. It's no difference. The criteria all have to fall under the same M21.
Yep.
Yep.
Guys, I hope you guys were able to grasp a lot tonight. Definitely. It was a great conversation. And I hope that you were able to understand tonight the difference between sleep apnea and sleep disturbance. And you are already headed to filing your VA claims. Make sure that you are filling the right condition the right way, because that's the difference between an approval and a denial. Okay? Make sure that you are filing it the right way. If you don't know, you can always come back here to ask. You can go to the comment section of this video. You can ask a question. I usually come back and check the comments to see if anybody had any questions, or sometimes people watch the live and then they drop different questions in the comments. I go back in the comments to look and see and answer questions there. So if you have a question, you can definitely ask it in the comments and we'll address it. Or sometimes you ask in the comments, we address it in the live, so you guys can have, an answer. San Diego Marine said, my sleep apnea claim is at the BVA. Well.
It's going to be there too for a long time.
It's a while. It's going to be there for a while.
But the good thing is, if they approve it, that's some dollars.
Yeah, it's going to be some dollars. Holla. But anyway, guys, I hope that we were able to answer all your questions. I hope that you really understood the difference between sleep apnea and insomnia. Let's see here. If you got a nexus from your private provider and the VA did not use the nexus before making a decision, can you just resubmit that same nexus
We used it. No. We used it. It just wasn't.
It wasn't good.
We used it because if you look at your narrative and look under the evidence list, I'm sure that it tells you that that nexus, that private, they may say private treatment, they may say whatever, but me, when I do my narrative, I click the little button that says evidence, and then I say evidence that I'll be like, we review, are we considered evidence submitted, private, DBQ with independent medical opinion, conductive, I go all into it. So that we looked at it. However, it was not sufficient,
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we're supposed to do. Now, do everybody do that?
No. San Diego Marine. Oh, you've been waiting for 2 years so far. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's 3 judges. There's 3, just so you know, there's 3 judges that's reviewing all of these BVA cases. And there's hundreds and thousands of veterans waiting.
You wish the long form was standard. The long form it probably would take a lot of time from the raters, though, the real dark one. And sometimes the long form is not really needed for everything.
I use them when doing supplementals, not doing grants.
Oh, you went direct. Okay.
They denied it. Did he get it denied? Is that why he went BVA?
I think so, yeah, you went direct. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining. It was definitely a pleasure. We'll be back on Friday night. I don't even know what we're talking about, but I guess we'll be back here to
hold the people that are in here. Ask them what are some topics they would like.
I was just about to say that. What's some topics you would like for us to talk about? Anything in specific would you like for us to talk about? I know that somebody did send me a message because they want us to go over MSD, PTSD, MDD, and PDD.
Don't ask for sleep apnea again. Y'all go back and review this video.
My husband just walked in there. I'm telling you, he loves you.
We're going to do lay statements. We're going to do an example of a lay statement. Aid in attendance. Ooh.
We did one on that already.
I think we did aid in attendance. Didn't we?
Yes.
I don't know. I'll go back and look. Oh, you know what? No, we didn't. I want us to do aid in attendance and caregiver on the same day. Because I just seen a lady post on Facebook that she got denied for aid in attendance because she has breast cancer, and the comments were just sending me. The sinusitis was Donna, you got it? Approved? Okay, let's see here. 3.156C in Berry Steps.
Oh God, it's SMC stuff.
Yeah.
You asked. You asked.
But we did SMC already.
I think we did SMC. We did all of them. A all the way through Z.
Yes. Y'all don't qualify. Stop it. Quit listening to these folks on.
Oh, you're waiting. Okay. Aggravation claims. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Heart conditions. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try to write this down. ICDS, HTN, and HCM. Okay. Caregiver. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay.
Caregiver is not VBA. That's VHA.
That's VHA. You don't have to call the cat lady. Anyway.
Aggravation claims.
Yep, I put aggravation. I'm in the PFCAC program for my vet father.
That's caregiver.
Yeah, that's caregiver. Anything else, y'all, before we go? So I got
one other condition, which is narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy.
If somebody does have that issue, it's rated under like seizures. but it's still, of course, a sleep concern
Yeah.
that is rated
If
under
you have, under seizures, like the tick. Yeah, if you have the tick, we do it under that too.
Fatty liver. Oh, the Meniere's disease.
Fatty liver is not a VA disability. That is a lab finding. So, no. Detox your body.
Go for a hike and stop eating meat.
Do something.
And what is the other one? High cholesterol.
Yeah, hyperlipidemia is a lab finding, not a disability.
High cholesterol. Yep, that too. All right, guys. So we got some good topics. If you guys have anything else, you can drop it in the comments of this video. I'm going to post the link to the article, and I'll post the CFR, the 38 CFR information that that goes along with this live, so you guys can look and read it for yourself and understand. And if you have questions, you can put it in the comments. As always, we are here to educate and for you guys to understand. So do not go and put nothing in that queue for sleep disturbance. Okay.
There are some, I think at the end of the PowerPoint, there is some CFRs also that you guys can review.
Yes, I'm going to copy and paste those and put them in the description box. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anything else? We will see you guys on Friday night. And of course, have a great week. Remember to share the information that you guys have learned here. And if there's anything else you want us to review or talk about, feel free to put it in the comments. Have an amazing evening. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the likes and the shares and subscribing. It's always a pleasure to come here and chat with FF and Natural, where you get it from the true source, people that do it all day, every day, and they do it gracefully. Okay. Thank you, ladies. It's always awesome to join you here. Thank you, everyone who has joined us tonight. And we will see you guys on Friday night. Take care. Be safe. And
thank you.
Thank you.
If you have a chat, and you give me your email. Oh, my email is hervetsvoice@gmail.com.
I really hope you guys learned something from this live tonight, and take it into consideration when filing the claims. I know I be out there because sleep apnea just be sending me to the left because but I do like helping you guys, so please take note when we do this, because me and FF do this for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yes.
And then we spend about 2.5 hours on here trying to get y'all to understand, so that if you do land at our queue, we can give you a grant instead of a denial. Because I like to grant. I don't like to deny. It takes too long.
It does. It's too much work.
I'm going to say this. And if you're the person that paid for 17 Nexus, you're wrong.
Oh, my gosh. I don't like to do supplementals because they are very, very long. People come with, I had an 040 that had 54 contentions. Why? It didn't change, but I'm just saying, I don't know where the information is driving people to do this. Well, I do know the social media, the TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just be mindful. Everything cannot be claimed due to terror. There are some conditions that cannot be granted under terror. We can do a live on that
some
for terror.
Conditions.
So that is not recognized under terror. So, and maybe do one. Did we do one? The difference between we did. I think Gulf War and the Pact. I think we did
that the other night, last week.
Yeah.
Night, guys. Thank you as always. Have an amazing night. Have a great week, the rest of the week, and we'll see you on Friday night. Take care. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
You're not alone. You got a voice. Stand strong. Stay informed. Her vet voice.